Alright, I got this in the mail recently. It was the TCG Player had their promotion for the Godzilla Day in early November. Said if you spend $150 at TCG Player, they would send you a cool promo from the upcoming Godzilla set with unique art. And I said, that sounds kind of cool, but I don't know if I want to spend $150 on cards right now. But then Rochester CCG, Sean over there, the GOAT, said he was also going to do a promotion where if you spent $150 at his TCG Player store, he would send you a retro box of Universus for free. And that's how I ordered 2 boxes of retro sets and got a third. And instead of just shredding them, I was going to open them on camera and make a little video, a little bit of content, and see how I do. So this is Battle for Power. This is, I want to say, the 3rd Mega Man set in the game. This came out in, should be copyright on here, right? Came out in 2016. This is nearly a decade old. Yeah, this is the 3rd Mega Man set after Mega Man and Mega Man Rise of the Masters. Base is on the front of it instead of Mega Man. And I like this set quite a bit. This is based on a Mega Man game that I definitely did play at some point. And what do we got here? Promo. Dark Laser. Ooh. A 2-check promo. This gets -1 damage plus 2 to its powerful. Add a safe attack from your discard pile to your momentum. This card is sick. So yeah, this is based on one of the Mega Man games. I know I've played that one before. I don't know exactly which one it is. It might have been Mega Man N Base, which was like Mega Man 8, I want to say. But I distinctly remember there's one of the robot masters in that game who's a character in the set called Turbo Man. He's a guy that turns into a race car, and I know that I have fought against that guy on the old SNES emulator back in the day when I was grinding those Mega Man games as like a 12-year-old or something. All right, let's see what we got. Noise Crush. This is a reversal card right off the bat from this retro pack. That means that if you block your rival's attack, you can then say, hey, I'm going to attack you on your turn with this reversal card. Enhance, discard a card, add a character card from your discard pile to your hand. I know most of the Mega Mans are stacker characters, so they want you to run multiple Mega Mans in your deck. So this just lets you turn a card into a Mega Man. Yeah, and say 3 high for 4. Decent block on that as well. Senshi no Sonshu. This is from Yamato Man, this like samurai robot guy. It is on All Chaos Water, 2/4 Foundation. After you play this card, your next check this turn gets +2, so you get to cheat on your build turns, or if you want a foundation in your card pool for some reason for an attack, you can play this into an attack and not feel bad about the progressive difficulty. And then in play, enhance twice per turn, ready one of your opponent's foundations, your next check gets +1. So this guy's whole mechanic was readying your rival's stuff to get you bonuses. I think his character card is like, ready your rival's foundation, your attack gets 3 speed, I think. It's pretty cool. Gyro Crush on Air All and Evil. 3 high 3, 4 diff. Enhance, draw a card, get a damage for each card you've drawn this enhance step. Okay. This guy, Gyro Man, I think his deal is like you can add one of your cards to your card pool to draw 2. I want to say that's it. But he was a big card draw character, so that's the payoff there. Wild Temperament, 1/5 Foundation. Enhance, your face-up attack with no abilities gets +1/+1. This is kind of like Ryukyu from Jetburn, except on completely different symbols, but it's giving you bonuses for playing otherwise blank attacks. And honestly, just a +1/+1 enhance on a spam foundation is pretty crazy if the vanilla attacks are at a decent rate at all. New enhancements. This is actually a card that I bought as a single for my retro deck that I play. This is a 2/4 foundation on Air, Earth, Void. Enhance remove, add an Earth foundation from your hand to your staging area. And this is playable while committed, so it's tenacious. I really like this card. It just lets you put in a ready foundation. I was using this to build in Petty Squabbles in my Retro Joker deck, so I could just like really fuel my hand, but also build out of sequence. Capsule Ice Beam is a 5/3 attack on Death, Evil, and Water. It's an ally, combo, enhance. If this is blocked, your opponent destroys one foundation, and their block card does not clear from their card pool during the end phase. That is rude. So they're just going to start the next turn, down a foundation, and up on progressive difficulty if they block this, and it's for 6 damage. Very cool. Alright, here's our rare. Yamada Damashi. Okay, thank you, Yamato Man. Action card, all Chaos Water. After you play this card, you may discard it from your card pool or draw a card. Response after an attack receives a speed bonus. It gets plus or minus X damage, where X is that speed bonus. So if you have a big EX ability, or like I said, this guy's face just like gave your attack 3 speed, you get to match the damage. That's pretty cool. Response after your opponent readies a foundation during the combat phase, add it to their hand. Rude. Okay. Yeah, I really like the rares in this set. They're like a little foil themselves, I think, but they have that sick base's face watermark in foil there. Very nice. Yes, we have the rare before the uncommons, of course, a normal thing to do in card games. We have Feather Shot. This is a Chaos Order Void. 2 mid for 4. Has Breaker 1 with a 1 mid block, so that's pretty good. Enhance if you have fewer foundations than your opponent. This gains multiple 2. This is from Tomahawk Man. His whole deal is, I think he has like a first form that says if you have fewer foundations than your opponent, your checks this turn get +1. So back in the old days when you were attacking on turn 1 in Retro, if you went second as Tomahawk Man, you could just like form and try to play a bunch of attacks with no foundations in play and just go for a kill immediately. Yeah, and gaining multiple 2 on your 2 mid 4, I mean, it doesn't sound amazing, but that kind of extra text on your 1 mid Breaker 1, definitely not the worst thing of the era. We have a 0 diff, Mace Master. Enhance at your turn commit. Your slam or weapon attack gets +1 damage for each card in your opponent's card pool. This guy, Nightman, I think, had a way to lock cards in your opponent's card pool for more than the turn cycle, so that's your payoff there. But also it's a 0 diff that has the weapon keyword. That is good in a lot of different decks. Notably no block zone on this. Oh look, there he is, Yamato Man. So we do get a character here. This is all Chaos Water. Enhance. Ready one of your opponent's foundation. Your attack gets +1 damage, +3 speed. Enhance if your opponent has no committed foundations, commit one of their foundations. So you basically always get to use his enhance to ready something, so you can just give all of your attacks that level of buff, but you're readying your opponent's foundations to do so, so it's kind of like you're giving your attacks +2/+1 instead of +3/+1 because you're giving them that resource back. And he's a 7-hander with 19 health, so pretty aggressive there. Alright, and that is 1 pack Battle for Power. Set that over there so that if I cut this video halfway through, I can come back and it'll be like I never moved. I really like the design from this era. I do wish I had started playing the game around this time. I didn't start playing until like 2023, so this has already been out for 7 years. Egg Drop. 3 diff, 3 check, 3 block mod, 3 high for 3. Powerful, 2. Air, Death, and Good. Enhance your opponent discards a momentum. Seal this attack. So if you seal this attack, it loses its abilities. And then your Slash Man, I think this guy's called, says, hey, your attack has no abilities, I get to do my stuff. Yeah, just enhance opponent's discards their momentum. Not amazing, but not bad. But hey, it's 3 diff, what can you say? Peace Interrupted is a 1/5 foundation. Good Order Water. Once per turn, after this foundation is committed due to your opponent's effect, ready it. Okay, so it's classic stun hate on these symbols. Enhanced commit, your range attack gets +1 speed. That is a terrible rate. This card seems very bad. I think that I want to say all these symbols, especially nowadays, have better stun hate on a 1 or a 0 diff, and commit to give only a range attack +1 speed. That's pretty rough. Napalm Slam. The only thing I know about Napalm Man is that he is banned in Retro. This is a 4 diff, 3 check, 3 high block, 3 mid for 4, slam. On Death, Fire, and Void, enhance, commit one of your opponent's foundations. Targeted commit is pretty good, but I imagine that these numbers on here aren't. That's that. Respect for Yamato. So we see Yamato Man here, but this is actually a Nightman card. 2/5 foundation, it is a weapon foundation. On Death, Earth, and Order. Enhance, your turn, destroy. Your slam or weapon attack gets +4 damage, only playable if there's at least one card in your opponent's card pool. So 2 diff, destroy for +4 damage. That's a pretty good rate, even with the requirement there to have your opponent either you stuff their card pool somehow, because maybe that's the thing on the death symbol that you get to do, or you throw something in their card pool with your character, or they just blocked your last attack. So this is really threatening to make them not want to block your first attack, which is always cool. Dr. Wily's Challenge is a 2/5 foundation. It is an ally. It has Desperation 0. Desperation is a keyword that is technically in standard right now because of some reprints, but very uncommon to see. If I have this right, it's if you are below half of your starting health, then the difficulty of this card is actually the desperation value. So this will become a 0 diff like partway through the game. Okay, after this foundation is destroyed during an attack, that attack gets -2 speed or +2 damage. Enhanced commit, your ally attack gets +2 damage. So this is, I assume, a Dr. Wily card. I think he had some way to destroy his own foundations. Yeah, the rate on there is not bad. There's probably better things you can do today. I'm thinking of like I'm With You from Attack on Titan, which when it's destroyed, you give +or -2 damage, but it's a 1 diff. This being a 2, like on turn 1, is probably not quite good enough. But if you're really playing into that desperation mechanic, then I can see it. Budget Constraints as a 2/5. On Air, All, and Evil. Enhanced commit. If you have drawn a card during this attack, your opponent discards a momentum. Yeah, repeatable momentum hate. Not bad. I don't think I would play this in many decks, but you know, it's an effect that I don't hate. Alright, here's our rare, Gravity Hold. We have Mega Man using someone else's weapon here. That's why he's all red. 3 diff, 3 check, 2 low for 4. Breaker 1 on your 2 mid block. This is on Good, Order, and Water. It has Flash, so it's going to skip the enhanced step. This card does not count towards progressive difficulty, just straight up. Yeah, okay, I'm in for that. I love ignoring progressive difficulty. That's one of my favorite things to do. Yamato Suramu. This is another reversal for Yamato Man. It is a 4 diff, 3 mid for 5 slam, enhance. If your opponent has more ready foundations than committed foundations, for example, if it's your first attack, or if you're Yamato Man, draw a card or add the top card of your deck to your momentum. That seems pretty good. This is going to be on most of the time, especially if you're building around it. So it's just 4 diff, 3 mid 5 that's going to draw a card, or snap a momentum, and you can do it on your rival's turn. Yeah, for an uncommon, this is pretty sick. Hi-Fi Stereo. There's my guy, Turbo Man. This is a 2 diff foundation on All, Life, and Void. It is unique, so you can only have 1 in play at a time. Response, your turn, commit. After a foundation is added to your staging area, your opponent discards a card. Response, your turn, commit. After your opponent... Okay, so his whole deal is building foundations during your attack string, or like I think his first form builds a foundation. Because normally when you build a foundation on your turn, it's the end of the turn, so making your opponent discard doesn't do anything because they drop back to hand size immediately. So this is a cool little discard card that you can try to turn on during your turn. I like it. Notably, you have to be a gender male character to use this ability. That's what that G:(M) means. In this era, gender was listed on your character card for abilities like that, which means that since it's not anymore, you can really only play this card in characters from this era. It's like that Soul Calibur Mega Man era. Yeah, this card's cool. I like it. I like making my opponents discard things. And then here's our character slot. This feels like there's a character in every pack now. I don't know if that was a thing during this time, but I'm here for it. Yeah, Tomahawk Man. Chaos, Order, Void. First form, if you have fewer foundations than your opponent, your checks to play cards get +1 for the rest of the turn. So if you're going second, even if you're not doing attacks on turn 1, you can be really greedy with your foundations. You can like play 4 diff foundations without worrying about it. Response, before your opponent makes a check to play a mid-block, the difficulty of that check becomes 7. I forgot that was the other line of text on this guy. Yeah, so doesn't matter what your speed is, doesn't matter what their block mod is, they gotta check a 7. Early game, that adds up pretty quickly, but just not caring about the speed on your own cards and saying, yeah, I'm gonna throw a bunch of attacks at you, you have to check 7s, is very, very cool. He's a 6-hander, 28 health. Alright. Let's keep rolling. Pack number 3. There we go. We have another new enhancement, so we've already seen this card. We have a Yamato Supia. This is a 4 diff, 4 mid for 4, weapon. If your opponent has more ready foundations than committed foundations, this gets +2 damage and +2 speed. So you run this out in Yamato Man, it's going to be a 9 mid for 7 on your 4 diff. Hell yeah. That's what commons are up to in those days. Sick. Racing Rivals is a 1/5 foundation. This is a Turbo Man card. This dude is from one of the other Mega Man sets. This might be Flashman? Sure, let's go with that. After you discard this card, due to your opponent's effect, add it and the top card of your deck to your staging area face down. So back in this era, cards that made your rival discard things were more powerful. So they also printed a bunch of hate cards for that. So this says, hey, you're trying to make me discard stuff? I'm going to build 2. Let's go. Then when it's in play, enhance, discard a momentum, ready this foundation. Classic ability, just turn one resource into a different resource. We see that quite a bit. So doesn't do too much on its own. That is like a rate that you're not usually down to pay to ready this, but if you need to discard hate, I can definitely see you playing this card. Stolen Sword. I have a whole retro deck built around this exact card. It's crazy. This is a common. It is a weapon foundation, 2 diff, 5 check on all fire and order. First, after you play this card, your opponent commits 1 foundation. So that's if you're playing it on your turn or as a block, they just commit 1. And then enhance. Reveal a weapon card from your hand. The next time you play a weapon foundation this turn, add it to your staging area. So if you have a ton of weapon foundations in your deck, then you get one of these out, you play a bunch of attacks that draw more cards, hopefully, or like clear themselves, and then every other card you're playing, you get to play a weapon foundation, and just immediately build it into your stage with this. So you get to build like crazy, you get to pass checks like crazy. Yeah, it's really fun to go off with this card. Alright, we have a 0 diff. It is a Tengu Man card. That's this dude with a nose. He's on the box art and everything. After you play this card, if your opponent has at least 3 more foundations than you do, add it to your staging area. So yeah, if you're going second and your opponent built 3, you can just run this out. It comes in immediately. Or if they've built 2 million, it just builds right in. Gets you that extra resource. It does not have a block, which makes sense because if you could block with this and do all that, it might be a little more powerful. But yeah, this card's just pretty cool. It helps you out if you're going second, which is always nice. Tomahawk Slam is a 2-diff attack. A 2-diff. It is a 1 mid for 3 slam. Enhance this card of momentum. This gets +4 damage. So we just opened a Tomahawk Man last pack. Tomahawk Man says, I don't care if it says 1 speed. It's a mid. You have to check a 7 to block it. So if you have your momentum to pitch to this, it's a 2-diff that's hitting for 7 unless they check a 7. Very cool. Our rare is Walking Arsenal. It's a 3-diff foundation on Death, Fire, Void. Response, commit. After your opponent plays an ability that adds any number of cards to their hand, they lose 2 vitality. Yeah, drawing cards get punished. Very cool. It's I don't know if this is good. Like a 3-diff that is committing to burn them for 2 if they draw cards. It's definitely annoying, but yeah, probably not a rate that works in today's formats. Looks cool, though. Onto the uncommons. Capsule Zap. I think this one is actually played in retro Dr. Wily decks right now. This is a 3-diff. It is a 2 low for 3. It is an ally. It says, enhance. Add 1 ally foundation that you could normally play from your discard pile to your staging area. Yes, this is definitely played. This card's busted. It just tutors a foundation from your discard pile into play on your 3-diff attack. Yeah, very strong. And then here's Nightman. Oh, there's a card behind this. What does that mean? Okay, well, we'll do Nightman. Okay, this is Nightman. 6 hand size, 28 health on Death, Earth, and Order. He says, form once per turn. Your next slam or weapon attack this turn gets +X damage. X equals the highest printed difficulty on a card in your opponent's card pool. So if they are blocking with attack cards, you get to give one of your attacks a bunch of damage. And then response, commit a foundation. After you block an attack, that attack does not clear from your opponent's card pool during the end phase. So this is how you lock stuff in their card pool going into your turn. So he's basically saying every time you block one of their attacks, your attacks are getting essentially +1 speed the next turn, and one of them is going to get bonus damage from his form. This guy is probably not amazing because he doesn't really have defensive tech. He's just all offense that your opponent can just not attack into your blocks if they don't want to. So if that happens, he doesn't really do anything. But some very cool text on this guy, and honestly, my favorite character art in the set. He's in that action pose. He's got his ball and chain. He's got a big shield. Very cool. For some reason, this uncommon was behind the character card. This is Incredible Range. It is a 2-diff foundation. Enhance, flip. Your range attack gets +2 damage and -2 speed. That's Tomahawk Man. He doesn't care what his speed is. Response once per turn. After your opponent makes a check against a difficulty of 7, like if they're blocking a Tomahawk Man attack, draw a card and discard a card. Yeah, that seems very solid. We see cards in Standard today that say okay, once per turn, if an attack deals damage, draw 1, discard 1, just get a little more consistent. And all you need to do to turn this on is either if your opponent is deep into a string and they're checking it against 7s, or if you just are Tomahawk Man and they're trying to block your mid attack. Yeah, very cool. All right, keep going. At this rate, I don't know if I'm going to get through the whole box today, but hey, that's fine. You won't know that. I'll just edit through this. It'll be totally seamless, I swear. This is Clear Cutter. This is a spam foundation, a 1-diff for Tomahawk Man. When this is in your card pool, checks to play attacks get +1, and checks to play blocks get -1. Form, add this to your card pool. This card's really weird. It's really weird. So if you play this and then play attacks, it's basically not counting towards progressive. And it's basically Okay, so with Tomahawk Man, this is giving us speed in a way to still work with how he doesn't care about speed. So you're still setting your rivals' difficulty of their blocks to 7, but now you're giving -1 to all their checks. Okay, I can see this. It's a 4 check, so can't go crazy with here. It doesn't have a block mod, so you can get punished by that. But yeah, just very on theme card for that guy. Petrol powered. This is another single that I ordered from the set for that Stolen Sword deck that I built in Retro. This is a Turbo Man card. It says after you play this card, if you already have 3 or more foundations, add this right to your staging area. And in response, after it's added to your staging area, your next attack this turn gets +2 damage. So if you're turn 2, you play this first, it goes right into your stage. Your first attack is +2 damage. Very solid. Fire Slash. This is a Swordman card. I think the first one we've seen so far. It is on all fire and order. It is a 5-diff 3 check 4 high for 6 weapon. Enhanced, reveal a weapon card from your hand. This gets +3 damage. This card does not seem great. Kamaitachi, we'll go with that. This is a 5-diff attack, Desperation 4. Its range, it has the safe keyword, which means that this attack cannot be reversaled. If they block this, they can't play reversal. It's a 4 mid for 5. It says enhanced, reveal the top card of your deck. If it has a control of 1, so a 1 check, add it to your hand. Very cool. Enhance, if this attack is blocked, ready a foundation that has not been readied to this combat phase. Yeah, this is probably not a card that you're realistically playing. If you're playing your 5-diff in your 1-check deck, you might run into some trouble. You're not going to hit that very often unless you're stacking the top of your deck somehow. I don't remember if Tengu Man does that. And then if it's blocked, ready foundation, that's not bad, but it's just a 4 mid 5 damage. Your opponent doesn't really have to block this if they don't want to, so this card's probably not great. Suspicious of Mr. X. We think that this guy that looks a lot like Dr. Wily might be Dr. Wily. Alright. 2/4 foundation, good order, water, enhance, commit. Commit 1 card in your opponent's staging area with a printed difficulty of X or less. X is the number of character cards in your staging area. So commit this to commit a 1-diff, or if you're Mega Man and you're stacking your characters, you can get a little bit better. This is probably not good. You really need to stack 1 character for this to be relatively on rate, and even then it's commit to commit something. It is targeted to an extent, so I can kind of see it, but I can't imagine this card is all that worth playing. Also doesn't have a block mod. Night Slam is a 5-diff 4 mid for 6 on the Nightman symbols. It is a slam, it's a weapon. Enhance, gets +2 damage if there's a card in your opponent's card pool. Cool. If you did the thing with Nightman, then this is a 4 mid 8. Okay. Our rare is Nippon Bonsai. It is a 3-diff foundation for Yamato Man. It is unique. Form, once per turn, your opponent flips 1 committed foundation. So if you're Yamato Man and you can do your 1 targeted commit into this, that's pretty good. This also is form once per turn. That's the only cost to doing this, so you can just make them flip something every turn if they have committed face-up foundations. And then response destroy before your end phase. If your opponent has more ready foundations than committed foundations, gain 3 vitality. That seems like a pretty bad rate. You'd have to be pretty desperate to do that. I think this is really just here for that form once per turn, which is pretty cool. On to the uncommons. Premeditated Attack is a 2-diff ally. After this foundation is destroyed, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is an ally card, you may add it to your hand or to your staging area face down. So if you're destroying your foundations during your turn, this one might draw a card, might rebuild something, but only if you're really heavy on ally cards, both foundations and attacks. And there's Dr. Wily. Enhance, destroy a foundation. Haha. Your attack gets +2 speed. If it deals damage, your opponent destroys a ready foundation. Yeah, that's not nice. +2 speed and force them to want to block. Gross. Response. After the ready phase, reveal your momentum and add an ally attack from your momentum to your hand. So if they did let something through and you have an ally attack in your momentum, you get to just be a 7-hander this turn and pick that right back up. Yeah, I can see why this guy is played. He's a 6-hand, 27 health on Death, Evil, and Water. Again, we have another uncommon behind it for some reason. This is King Army Recruit. 2 diff, enhanced commit. Discard the top 5 cards from your deck. Your attack with a printed control of 1 gets +2 speed. If it's not obvious, Tengu Man cares about 1-check attacks. I know he has at least 2 in his kit. He might have more, honestly. Yeah, commit for +2 speed. Mill yourself for 5. Sure. Alright. We got time for another. We have seen Budget Constraints in a previous pack. We have seen Tomahawk Slam. We've seen Arrogant and Overconfident. We have seen Stolen Sword. We have seen Napalm Slam. We have seen Respect for Yamato. This is a fast pack. We are already on the rare. A new rival. Good, Order, Water. 2/4 Foundation. Form. Once per turn. Discard a character card. Draw a card. Okay. Enhance. Your turn. Commit. Your attack gets +1 damage for each character card in both staging areas. So it's always going to be +2. But has a maximum of 5. I guess this is like the safety foundation. If you have a bunch of character cards in your deck and you're worried that you might draw too many, you can just cycle one once per turn. Okay. I'm not huge on the stacker characters. From what I remember of Mega Man, he's not that good. Maybe if you're playing like some of the 7th Cross characters that are a little more built around the stacking, this gets a little bit better, but I'm not a big believer in this. Feather Shot, we did see this in a previous pack. Mace Master, I think we saw this. Yeah, 0 Slammer Weapon gets +1 damage for each card in your opponent's card pool. We did read this, yep. And then there's another Yamato Man. Okay, well that was a fast pack, which means we definitely have time for another. Okay, Yamato Supia, we've seen that card. Kamai Tachi, we saw that card. Fire Slash, we saw that card. Night Slam, we saw that card. Deadly Up Close is a 2/5 foundation on Air, Death, and Good. Enhanced Commit, your weapon attack gets +2 speed. Seal your attack. Okay, it is keyword locked. Committing for +2 speed on a 2 diff. It's not amazing, but if we're getting a benefit off of sealing our attack, I can kind of see this in the Slash Man deck, so I don't hate that. A second Yamato Supia in the same pack. Okay. Alright, our rare is Let's Make This a Fair Fight. It is a Swordman action. It's an ultra rare, okay. All Fire Order, 2 diff, 4 check, +2 mid block. Form. Commit 1 card in your opponent's staging area. Okay. Response. After your opponent plays an ability that adds any number of cards to their hand, draw 2 cards and discard this from your card pool. That seems very good if you block with this. Forming this, committing something of theirs, and then this just like sits in your card pool seems kind of rough, so I don't love this. And it's a 4 check. Yeah, I don't know about all that. That's the ultra rare. We have seen Premeditated Attack. We have seen Dr. Wily. We have seen King Army Recruit. Definitely hitting a point where I think we've seen quite a bit of the commons in the set. So we're going to be churning through the rest of these packs. Stolen Sword, yep. Okay, here is Raging Slash. It is a new card to look at. So this is your blank attack, 4 diff, 3 check, +0 mid block. Love to see that. 4 high for 5 on a 4 diff. Sure. Okay. It's a punch. It's a weapon. Thank you, Slashman. We've seen Dr. Wily's challenge. Rocket Buster. This is, I think, our first card for base. No, we saw his uncommons, but the first attack, I think. Rocket Buster is a 5 diff, 3 check, 2 mid block, 4 high for 5 on air, earth, and void. It has charge, punch, range, safe, and stun 1. Base enhance. This attack has -1 damage and +1 speed. His text, if you're familiar with Bakugo from Jet Burn, who says, when your Fury attack gets a damage penalty, it gets +3 damage. Base has that same text, but for safe attacks. So he says, if your safe attack gets a damage penalty, it gets +3 damage. So this base enhance really just turns this from a 4/5 into a 5/7 on your 5 diff stun 1. That's like not the least efficient move you can play. It's not amazing, but if you're in a more casual limited environment, you can get some people with that. Kamai Itachi, we've seen. Senshi no Sonshu, we've seen. The mysterious Dr. X, there he is. Definitely not Dr. Wily, even though it has his symbols. This is a 1/4 foundation. It is a rare. Enhance, once per turn. Discard a card. Add a foundation from your discard pile to your staging area, and then destroy it. That's really funny. So all those Dr. Wily foundations that did things when they were destroyed, you just get to trigger one each turn. Yeah, I'm here for that. That's pretty fun with the Dr. Wily deck. I like it. Yari no Tatsujin is a 2 diff for Yamato Man. Form, destroy. If your opponent has more ready foundations than committed foundations, they add the top card of their deck to the card pool face down. Okay, it's not amazing. You can't just like start off your turn with this most of the time, unless you just survived a big swing from them and they're mostly tapped out. No block mod is a little rough, but hey, 2 diff, form, destroy to give your attacks +1 speed for the turn. I don't hate that. We've seen Mace Master and we've seen Premeditated. Very good. Moving on. We've seen Night Slam. We've seen Budget Constraints. Ooh, we have not seen Turbo Slam. This is a Turbo Man card. It is a 4 diff, 3 check, 3 mid for 5, 2 high block. Slam, Combo Slam. Combo Enhance. Add a foundation you can normally play from your hand to your staging area. So just build something from your hand for free. No check. Don't care what the difficulty is. Middle of the turn. Extend your string. Yeah, very classy. There's not a ton of playable slams, but there's just enough to make this do some things. I have built around all slams in Retro. It's not a good deck, but it is a fun deck to play. We have seen Tomahawk Slam. We have seen Clear Cutter. We've seen Night Slam. Admission Fees. This is a card people actually play. This is a 2/5 foundation on Air, All, and Evil. It is unique. It says, enhance, add the top card of your deck to your card pool face down. This attack has +2 or -2 speed. And response commit, after your opponent draws 2 or more cards due to their non-character effect, draw 2 cards. Yeah, that's great. If your opponent has a draw 2, you get a draw 2. Sick. You get to keep up with them. And then we've seen that enhance on Breakdancing, which is from Jet Burn or Girl Power. And it sees like very specific play in characters who want face downs in their card pool, but for the most part, it doesn't do much. But yeah, you're playing this for the response. Quite strong. For Chivalry and Honor is a 2/4 foundation, no block mod. Response, flip. After your opponent plays an attack, its damage cannot be modified. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's an effect that we have Always Cool today that does that. It's a response destroy, and then the same thing, it says that damage can't be changed. It's a very powerful effect, so I can definitely see this getting played. Here's my guy Turbo Man. He turns into a race car. He's a 7-hander with 20 health on all life and void. First form, both players may add 1 foundation they could normally play from their hand to their staging area. The whole they can normally play thing, they have that on here because deck building rules used to be different with symbols. You could put any symbol card in your deck, but you couldn't actually play a card as a form if it didn't share a symbol on your character. And then there are like more complicated rules about symbol chaining, which I honestly don't understand enough to explain them, so we'll just move on. And then, okay, enhance. Committed Foundation. If the Committed Foundation was added to your staging area this turn, your attack gets +2 damage and +2 speed. So yeah, this guy, you're trying to build a bunch of stuff during your string, and then you're committing the stuff that you build that turn to give your attacks +2/+2 on your 7-hand aggro character. Very cool design. I like his kit a lot more than I like him, but yeah, he's a sweet one. And then here's Capsule Zap, a card that we have seen. Alright, we've seen Peace Interrupted, we've seen Fire Slash, we've seen Petrol Powered, Capsule Ice Beam, we have seen that. Diplomatic. This is a 1/4 foundation on Death, Fire, and Void. Enhanced Commit. Your attack gets +1 speed. That's a terrible rate. We don't like that. Response. Check a 5. After your opponent removes any number of cards from their card pool, they lose 2 vitality. That's very specific hate. I don't know who is removing cards from their card pool that often. Nowadays, this would counter like their lethal slashes because that removes on resolution. That's fascinating. I'm sure they printed this card for a reason, and I just don't know what it is. So if you know what it is, get in the comments. Noise Crush. We did talk about this. This was in our first pack. I like that Mega Man has a foundation that says discard a character to draw a card, and an attack that says discard a card to pick up a character. That's very funny. Alright, here's your ultra rare for Nightman. This is Night Crusher. 5 diff, 3 check, 3 mid for 7, +1 high block. Weapon. Combo weapon. So if you play this as your 3rd attack, or I guess with weapon foundations, just your 3rd card after 2 weapons. Combo enhance. This attack gets throw for the rest of the turn. Don't know why it has to say for the rest of the turn there. The attack gets throw. Cool. Combo enhance. Your opponent discards all cards from their card pool. This attack gets +3 damage for each card discarded. That is sick. Yeah, so this is your finisher, I guess, in Nightman. You say, block their thing, lock it in the card pool. On your turn, you try to stuff their card pool. You play 2 weapons. You play this. You clear their card pool. It's huge. It's a throw. Very sick design on that. I like that a lot. We've seen Yari no Tatsujin. We've seen Mace Master. We've seen premeditated attack. There was no character card in this one, right? Was that our first pack without a character card? I do not understand how these boxes are laid out. That's okay. Okay, Clear Cutter, Diplomatic, Noise Crush, Dr. Wily's Challenge, Arrogant and Overconfident, Fire Slash, and we're on the rare Slash Claw. Slash Claw. There we go. 5 diff, 3 check, 3 mid 5, 0 low block. Multiple 1. Multiple means, and I might get this wrong, I think it's an enhanced speed. You discard momentum equal to the multiple rating. You take the top card of your deck and add it to the attack stack as a copy of this attack, but with no abilities. It's just the base stats that it gets. Yeah, I think that's it. And then first enhance, add the top card of your deck to your momentum, seal this attack. So this is a lot like, there's that Hiei card, Fist of the Mortal Flame, which is like, it has Echo, but also first enhance, take a momentum, but it loses Echo. So this is basically saying, hey, you can either do a multiple, or you can take a momentum with this. This card is probably not good. It's for a 5/3 being a 3 mid for 5. I guess, okay, so again, if you're doing the slash man thing and you want to be sealing your own attacks, having one that just snaps momentum first isn't the worst. It does have a 0 low block, that's not bad. I should really open slash man to figure out what it does, because I don't remember. But yeah, that is Slash Claw. Quake. 4 diff, 2 mid for 5, 1 low block, Desperation 3, ranged, stun 1, enhanced. Discard a momentum. Discard the top 4 cards of your deck. You may add 1 weapon card discarded this way to your hand. That's fine. This not being a weapon is rough, because then you just have a bunch of these in your deck that don't hit off themselves. Other than that, 2 mid 5, stun 1 on a 4 diff. Not the worst rate I've ever seen, but probably not something I'll put in a deck. Kleptomaniac. 2 diff foundation, no block mod. Enhanced. Discard a momentum. Your opponent's attack gets -2 speed. Okay, it's repeatable. That's a fine rate. Form Destroy. Your opponent discards a momentum. If they did, you may add a card from your hand to your momentum. Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of like the not broken part of Capture Evildoers, of just like, hey, if you took a momentum, actually I did. Form Destroy, yeah, that's probably fine. And then Hidden Behind Flames. 3 diff, Weapon Foundation. After this is discarded during an attack, the attack gets +2 or -2 speed. First form, remove. If your opponent has more than 10 foundations, your weapon attacks get stun 2 for the rest of the turn. So this is ye old Deadlock. Yeah, if they build to Oblivion, you say, cool, all my attacks will stun 2. And then just start going. But more importantly, Swordman is a character who discards cards to draw cards and cares about the difficulty of the discarded cards. So in the deck with that guy, you're very rarely playing this as a foundation. You just care about the stats, or the keywords, and the numbers on it. Alright, we're getting deeper. We know this, we've seen this. Gyro Crush we have seen, Egg Drop we've seen, Wild Temperament, and we're on the rare. Master of Weaponry. 2 diff foundation, no block mod. Enhanced Commit. If a foundation has been destroyed this turn, change the zone of your attack to high. Okay. Response, destroy. After one of your opponent's foundations is committed by your attack's ability, destroy it. Cool. So that's like, if your stuff has stun, you can basically threaten them to say, hey, if you stun something that I care about, I will blow this up to blow that up. Probably not an amazing rate. And enhanced commit to specifically change your attack to high, I don't really understand. So I don't think this one's going to see any play. We have seen Yamato Saramu. Nearly Consumed is a 2/5 foundation. Response, destroy. After you take 4 or more damage, add a character card from your discard pile to your staging area. This is a stacker enabler, kind of, for Mega Man, but it requires you to take a hit from your opponent, so they get some control over it if they're worried about the payoff of you stacking. And another Mace Master. Another pack without a character in it. There's still a few characters in the set that I don't think we've opened. I know Swordman, Tango Man are out there, Slash Man is out there, Bass, and Mega Man, I think, are all of them. Diplomatic, Noise Crush, Napalm Slam, Arrogant. I don't think we've seen Pressure Sensitive. This is a 1/4 foundation on Air, All, and Evil. Response, discard a card. Before a card is removed from your staging area due to an opponent's effect, remove this card instead. So nowadays, this is pretty nice against like Cape of No Return or Genkai's Guidance. Things that remove your attack that you're trying to attack with. This says, hey, actually, it's paying a big cost because it's removing itself and discarding a card from your hand, but to counter one of those powerful defensive abilities from your opponent, yeah, I don't hate that. Kind of a sideboard tech piece. There's Turbo Slam. Stronger Than All is a 2/5 foundation. This is our rare on Air, Earth, and Void. It says Enhance Destroy. Return this attack to its printed damage. This attack gets -1 damage. This is a base card, so defensively, return to printed -1 is pretty strong if they went all in on a powerful or something, but also in base it's offense, because if your opponent is doing a lot of damage reduction to your attack or like setting it to 0 or something, you can return to printed and then your -1 actually becomes a +2. We've seen that. Lonely, aw, poor Nayball man. Form Commit. If this is the only foundation in your staging area, add the top 2 cards of your deck to your staging area face down. That's fascinating. That seems really cool if you can like really build around that and or ready this somehow and like keep fueling stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if there was something broken happening with that in the past. Response. After your opponent plays an ability that commits 1 or more of your foundations, they lose vitality. So if you stun me, you burn for 1. Sure. And there's premeditated attack. Alright. We're about halfway through. We got 6, 12 pack. We're exactly halfway through. And I'm going to take a break and finish recording this later. Alright, we are back at it. This box is starting to not stick well, so I'm just going to grab the rest of the packs here. My cat just furiously ran down the stairs. Alright, I think we're mostly going to see more of the same out of these. We've seen most of the comes and icons already. I think we saw this. Samurai Roboto is a spam foundation that readies your opponent's foundations to give your attack +1/+1, so it's just doing more of Yamato Man's shtick, which is also enabling his other cards, which is nice. Yep. Right, our rare is Unlimited Blades. 3-diff action, form remove for the rest of this turn. Your attacks get flash. Enhance. If your attack has a printed speed of 2 or less, draw a card. After it resolves, you may add this card from your card pool to your hand. That's very cool. That's very cool. Yeah, if you just build a deck around this, you can just play this on every attack to draw a card each time, and then you keep picking it up. That's pretty sick. I like that. Hey, it's Omega Man. 6 hand size, 28 health on Good Order and Water. Your character cards get -3 difficulty, and he's starting difficulty 3, which is unlike most characters, so more copies of him in your deck will cost 0. 4 months return, discard the top 4 cards of your deck. You may add an attack discarded this way with a printed difficulty of extra less to your hand. X equals 2 plus the number of character cards in your staging area. So you start the game, your form can pick up a 3-diff attack. It's pretty slim, but then once you start being able to grab 4 or 5 diffs, you basically turn into a 7-hander, which is kind of cool. I don't know what the other Mega Mans do, but you presumably want to play those in your deck as well to gain their abilities, because that's how character stacking works in Retro. Yeah, it's a cool exploration of that design space. Let's say that. Alright, we've seen this card. Do we only get... Yeah, we got the character into uncommons. Capsule Zap. Yeah, we saw that. Alright. Yep. Just about through all the commons at this point. Okay, our rare is No Airbags. This is All Life and Void. This is a Turbo Man card. 2/4 foundation. When committing cards to pass a check, committing this foundation counts as committing 2 foundations. This is 2 foundations. Cool. After you commit this foundation to pass the check to play a non-attack, destroy it. Okay, that seems pretty powerful. It is just 2 foundations when you're attacking. Yeah, I like that. Probably worth 2/4. Built for the Tournament. 2/5 unique foundation. Enhance. Your attack with 2 or less speed gets stun 1, so this is another Tomahawk Man card. Response, discard a card. After your attack with 2 or less speed is not blocked, draw a card. yeah, just more ways to turn through your deck. I think that's really what this guy is all about. Just play a ton of attacks if you can. I don't know how many attacks he has access to that'll clear themselves or like ignore progressive or something, but between this and that rare we pulled last pack, you can really churn through your deck. Proud Nose, there he is, the Tengu Man. 1/5 Foundation on Air, Life, and Water. Response flip. After you check a 1, recheck. Cool. And we have seen a Hidden Behind Flames already. Seen all of these. I don't think we saw Somersault Kick. This is a base attack. It's kick. It is safe. It's a 4 diff, 3 low for 4. Enhance. Change the attack zone to high. It gets -1 damage. Add a face down card from your opponent's staging area to their card pool. Yeah, that's pretty solid in base. So in base, you're giving it essentially +2 damage with that, and then you are de-building them and giving all your attacks a speed for the turn. Sure, I'm here for it. Our rare is Master of Flight. That's a Gyro Man card. 2/5 Foundation, no block mod. Enhance Commit. Add a face down card from your card pool to the top of your deck. And enhance if you have drawn a card. During this enhance step, this attack gets +1 damage. No block mod on the 2 diff is maybe too expensive for this effect. But if you have the face downs in your card pool, which this guy does give to you, especially now that you are allowed to look at them, so you can, like, if you happen to stuff a 6 in randomly, now you can stack your deck with it by committing this, or you just give your stuff damage. Yeah, I don't hate it. We have seen Quake, we have seen Kleptomaniac, and we have seen Lonely. Yeah, I think we're going to churn through these because it really is just the rares at this point. We did see Pressure Sensitive. Yes, we did. There's Turbo Slam. Okay, Flail Strike, another Nightman card. 4 diff, 2 high for 4. This is a reversal. It's also a slam and a weapon. It says, enhance if this is not blocked. Choose a card in your opponent's card pool. It does not clear from their card pool during the end phase. So you're doing the same thing that you're doing with Nightman's Face. He's going to block something and freeze that attack in their card pool. Then you reversal with this, freeze another card in their card pool, and just stack up those cards for you to abuse on your turn. Yeah, you definitely play this in a Nightman deck. I like it. There's Capsule Zap. Incredible range. Here he is, Tengu Man, the man with the nose. 6-hander, 27 health. Enhance Commit. Your attack gets +X damage and +X speed. X equals 4 minus the lowest control on a card in your discard pile. So if you have checked or discarded or milled a 1 check, he commits for +3/+3. That's pretty strong. And then response, discard a card. After you check a 1, that check gets +2, and that's playable while committed. So you can really stuff 1 checks in this guy and kind of go crazy with him. And that's what all his cards kind of build around. I have actually played against a Tengu Man in, like, current day retro with a few of the 1 checks that are printed nowadays, and a lot of his kit originally. It was very cool, and I'm pretty sure he crushed me. But yeah, it's cool to see the older characters still showing up in retro and getting that modern day spice. Okay, we have seen all of these. Our rare is Gyro Attack. This is an ultra rare. 5 diff attack, 2 mid for 5. It has multiple 1. It's ranged. Enhance. Add a face down card from your card pool to your momentum. This attack and its multiple copies get +2 speed. So his whole shtick is he puts cards from his hand into his card pool face down and then draws replacement cards. And now this, and then the rare we saw in the last pack, I believe, or 2 packs ago, says you get to spend those face downs to do other things. Yeah, it's really only good in his deck, but it is a cool effect. Seen that, we've seen that, we've seen that. All right. Napalm Bomb is a Napalm Man. Attack, 5 diff, 4 low for 5. It does not have a block. It is ranged. It has stun 2. It says if your character's printed hand size is 5 or less, this gets -1 difficulty, so it's a 4 diff. Enhance. Your opponent loses 2 vitality. They may discard a card to cancel this effect. Yeah, just straight up make them use their resources, burn them for 2, or they discard a card. 4 low, 5 for stun 2. If you're a 5-hander, I can definitely see this being efficient enough to want to run, especially if you have other synergies with the keywords on here or whatever. As is, if you're playing this in a 6 or 7-hander, it's probably not good enough, but there we are. So now using that, ooh, a second Tengu Man. I think there's still 3 character cards we haven't opened. I was kind of hoping that you would see the full swath of characters inside a box. I guess it's not too late for that, but we'll see. Our rare here is Gyro Blade. It's a 3 diff, 3 check, 2 low for 4. Again, no block mon on here. It says discard a face down card from your card pool and draw a card. So you play this on Gyro Man, you stuff your card pool from your hand, you draw 2, then you kick that out and draw 1. It's just a lot of draw power all on that 1 card. Cool. There's Turbo Man again. Okay. Yeah, a lot of doubles of characters. I think that's our 3rd double. And there's still a few that we haven't opened. Commons, 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 commons. See this? Yes, we saw that. Okay, Silver Tomahawk. 3 diff, 3 check, 0 mid for 5, ranged weapon, enhance. If you have fewer foundations than your opponent, this attack gains stun 2. Response, before your opponent makes a check to completely block this attack with a mid block, the difficulty of that check becomes 5. Interesting. Does that just... How does that interact with this character card? And now I'm going to have to go find this character that we opened way earlier. Pretty sure we opened a Tomahawk Man. Because I thought his whole thing was you just make them have to check against a 7. Before your opponent makes a check to play a mid-block, the difficulty of the check becomes 7. Before your opponent makes a check to completely block this attack with a mid-block, the difficulty of that check becomes 5. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get what's going on there. Other than just playing this in other decks. Yeah. Okay, we have seen all of those uncommons. Okay, Hanging Gardens is an ultra rare. This is a terrain, so this is an asset, and the terrain rules text is there can only be 1 terrain at a time between you and your rival. So if someone plays one, then the old one gets destroyed. This is a 2/5 with a 2 low block. Response commit. After you make a check, it gets +2 for each face down card in your card pool. Enhance. Discard a momentum, draw a card, playable by either player, playable while committed. That's interesting. Giving your rival that out to use that ability, isn't the worst. That's not the most efficient use of momentum most of the time, but there's a good chance they'll be able to abuse it more than you can. But yeah, that commit to make the face downs that just added to the check to play your attack essentially act as -1 progressive is pretty cool. So in the Gyro Man deck, this is going to be a little bit better than a foundation for those cases. Yeah, I can see it. You play 1 or 2, sure. And there's our uncommons. Ooh, a foil Mega Man. I did not know that was an option. Very nice. Now, does that replace our rare? That replaces the rare. That is less nice. That's okay. It's a cool little card to have. I wonder if it's only Mega Mans that come in foil. I feel like I've never seen any of the other character cards from this set in foil. Maybe Dr. Wily? That might have just been a promo, though. Ooh, we have Treble. Treble's a 2/5 foundation, no, sorry, asset. 2/5 asset. He's an ally. He is unique. He says, enhance the safe attack. It's -1 damage and +1 speed. So if you're playing base, this guy, it's +2 damage and -1 speed, or +2 damage, +1 speed. There we go. Enhance. Add this card to your card pool. Your opponent adds a card from their hand to their card pool and then draws a card. Sure. It's not super powerful. It's just going to give you some extra stats in base, so base would probably play 1 or 2. And then the card pool text really doesn't do too much unless your opponent has like been holding that one card in their hand forever. You can assume it's some kind of trick and just get it out of there. But you're stuffing your own card pool to do that, so it's a real trade-off. And we are on the final pack. Alright. We have 1,000 Duels. This is a 2/5 foundation for Nightman. Enhance your turn, flip, reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, add all revealed slam or weapon cards to your hand, discard the rest. We did see a lot of weapon foundations for this guy, so you have a good chance of building your deck to be like 50% hits. So it's going to be flip to, on average, draw a card, sometimes whiff, sometimes draw 2. Okay, if you really build into it, I think Earth has a decent number of weapon foundations outside of here. I can definitely see you playing this, but most of the time it's going to be worse than flip draw card. Oh, and there's base. 6-hander, 26 health on air, earth, and void. Response after you play your after your safe attack gets a damage penalty. It gets +3 damage. Enhance once per turn. Discard a safe card from your card pool. Your opponent adds a card from their hand to their card pool. So you clear 1, they essentially discard 1 and give all your attacks +1 speed. It's pretty strong, except that safe attacks aren't printed anymore, so you have a pretty limited card pool to work with to build around him. But it's nice to know that you're never going to get reversaled, especially in retro. But yeah, I don't think he's going to see much play nowadays. And then those are the 2 uncommons that we've seen, and that is 1 box of Battle for Power. That was a lot of fun to open. Thank you for watching me read these cards for the first time and stumble my way through them and give my thoughts. I have 2 more boxes of retro product, as well as some starter decks that I'll be opening, thanks to that Godzilla promotional thing going on and the people over at Rochester CCG. And then once I do get my Godzilla promo pack, I'm assuming it's going to be a sealed 1-card pack, so I'm not going to know if it's the 1 in 32 fancy one or not. I'm going to record myself opening that and live reacting to it. Maybe I'll even do it on stream. We'll see. Until then, peace out.